Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be covering my second round in the Vega Battlegrounds Championship, and today I'm facing MarcusPack16. I'll leave a link to his channel down in the description. He does some really cool stuff on the content creator program. Definitely recommend checking him out. So, out of the 3 matches that I played, this for me was probably the one where I played the worst. Just in the majority of the fights, I didn't perform to the best of my ability, which in these types of tournaments, you need to. But I think it was purely because of nerves. If I won this round, I progressed through to the step ladder. Because J-Will and IP already played before I played Marcus today. And J-Will managed to beat IP, which means that he was 2-0. If I won this, that meant that I was 2-0, which means that we both progressed regardless, since we were facing each other the next week. So, looking at my draft here, I'm feeling pretty confident that I can counter most things that he's got. So I placed Bishop there because I see that he doesn't really have a great Bishop counter. He places Apocalypse to try and bait out one of my attackers, which is smart. So I use Hercules for this because I feel like I didn't really have much of a better option. I could have used Scorpion. I was wanting to save him for the Mystics though. I-Bomb, same again, want to save for Mystics. Hyperion, well, he's not that great because he turns Incinerate immune, and with Bulwark you don't want to exceed the damage cap, so I thought Hercules would be the best option. And he chooses Scorpion for Bishop, which it can work, but it's not the best matchup, which is what I was aiming for. I was aiming to make it so that he used a suboptimal counter. You'll see here that I try building up feats of strength and I get hit. That happens a lot today, so be prepared. I only managed to get 4 feats of strength off in that one Infuriate, which is pretty bad. I like to dex the special, or the first hit of the special one, and then block the second, then dex out the third, just to minimise block damage. Here, go for a few more intercepts, try and build up feats of strength a bit more. Trying to build up to a special 2 just so that I can finish off the fight with that. A few more intercepts. And I just go straight for it, hoping that the last hit wouldn't trigger Bulwark, and it does. So I just have to wait this out, bait a special 2, clean 4 decks on that, and one more combo should finish him off. Yeah, there we go. And that gives me 50,000 points. It's not the best, it could definitely have been better with Hercules, but looking at it, he's still in the fight, which means that at this point I probably would have scored enough to take this round. So I'll take it. I'm looking here at who I could use to bait out his Archangel, because that is a dangerous pull from him. His Archangel could nuke 4 out of 5 of my champs left, so ideally I want to get rid of that in the next round. And I end up taking this round. He finished 91 seconds, half health. So you'll see here that I end up placing I-Bomb, since he doesn't have any poison immunes and Archangel can nuke that fight down. It's a little bit more RNG based since my I-Bomb's unduped, but it is still definitely possible. And he ends up placing Moleman here, which is very smart because I don't have a counter at all. Looking at who I've got left, I decide to go with Hyperion for my fight, since if he does use Archangel here, which he ends up doing, then there's 2 Mystics and somebody that has Petrify left, so there's no point me placing Hyperion on defense, and it'll be useless on offense, which means that this is probably the best place to throw him. You'll see at the start of this fight that it starts off okay, and then I make a very, very big mistake. Get heavy off there. I miss the parry here, and for some reason, from halfway across the screen, I try and counter his heavy attack. Because I don't even know why. I wasn't thinking. I was stressed, I was nervous. Because, again, this was the deciding factor for whether I go through or not. Go for a special 3 here, because pushes my power too high. Triggers Bulwark. And from here, I'm just going to go for special 2s. To try and get as much damage off as possible. And I still can't see myself beating Archangel vs Ibon. I got very lucky there that I didn't get clipped by a special 1. And from here I'm just going to rotate special 2s. You'll see here that he gets pushed into Frenzy, which means that my debuffs will stick now, but because each monster mass provides that much physical resistance, my base hits are just doing no damage. I'm looking at the clock and thinking, yeah, I've definitely timed out here. Trigger Bulwark, get the last little chip off. Maybe if he got screwed over by RNG, I could have taken this one, but it's not looking good, and yeah, he takes that. RNG did screw him over though. He did get a lot of poisons on him, and that's the thing with an unduped Ibon versus Archangel. He doesn't start with a poison, so it's all luck based on whether you actually get poisons on you from the start or not. In this last round I'm looking, he doesn't have a good nick counter, so I throw him on defense. I'm thinking he'll either place Rintrah or Mr. Negative, and he ends up going with Rintrah. And for this I'm going to use my rank 4 Scorpion. I've had a fair bit of practice on this fight, so I feel fairly comfortable with it. It is a little bit AI dependent, just because things can go sideways, but for the most part it's just playing around his charges. So whenever he gets to 5, knock him down with a heavy attack. Don't throw a special attack against a wall if he has 5 or more. So just from here, just go for some medium combos. Just build up as many stacks of Sting Burst as I can. 6 now. Trying to build up to my special 2, just so that I can throw that off and deal a big burst of damage at once. Special 1 has a lot of hits, so especially against Rintrah, I don't want to be spamming those all the time. Gets 10 here, throws a special 2. I'm going to charge my heavy attack after this. Only 4 poisons have stuck, but there's 10 stacks of Torment, so it doesn't do a big burst. 35k, still a decent chunk, but Rintrah is very tanky, so this will be a little bit longer than most fights with Scorpion. So my goal now is just build back up to 1 more special 2, throw it off, and then that should be the fight over. So I've got 8 stacks here. 1 more combo gets me to a special 2. Dash back, hold heavy. He's got 7 poisons, 22 torments, and this should finish the fight. Yep, 86,000 burst, and that is 100% 67 seconds. I'm out the fight first, and because I've got 100%, that just means I've won. So I've taken this first one 1-0. You'll see here that he ends up timing out to this. He finished with 100% health, which is strange. Originally I thought that was a bug, but he ended up pushing Nick into his second life and throwing a special 3 to proc the indestructible. and then he healed all the way back up and didn't end up getting back down. I think he ate a special 3 as well. So that was a good placement on my part. Good tactic holding Nick till the very last round instead of just throwing him on first round. So here, with this draft, I felt like I had outplayed him here. So I end up picking Bishop and Havoc. Havoc to try and force an armor up counter, and Bishop, what I was planning on using Bishop for was a defender, and then it forces one of his picks, so it forced him to pick Cap Sam there. But if he places Korg, I'm going to use Havoc as an attacker, so that makes that pick useless. To be fair, I did get very lucky here, drafting Nick in the very last one. Even though he does have Sunspot, I've seen him take Sunspot for Nick many times, and that is a very good matchup. So he ends up placing his Korg here, exactly what I was planning. So I'm going to place Bishop here instead of using Bishop for Korg, just because this could bait out his Archangel, and it does. So now I feel confident that I can use Havoc for Korg, and that wastes his Cap Sam. So his Cap Sam's basically to be useless for the rest of the match. I'll be honest here, I did kind of throw this because I knew that Archangel would be way quicker than me, but I wasn't expecting Havoc to be this slow. I think the main thing is that I didn't get the extra burst of damage at the end of the special 3 because of Bulwark. But you'll see here that I start off playing this fight fairly well, kind of drifts off a little bit downhill, and when I lose, I think I get hit by a special 1 a few times, and by then I just get to the end of the fight. But as long as even if I do die, I'll have lost the round anyway. But I do make a lot of mistakes here, and this is part of what I mean when I say that this match was probably the worst that I've played. Like, the only clean fight I've had so far has been the Scorpion versus Rintrah, and even after this one, it'll still be the only clean fight so far out of 4, which, in situations like this, is not a great thing. So I'm building up some plasma charges on him, throwing the feedback debuff on. Get hit by a special 1 there, that ruins everything because it makes the plasma debuffs detonate. And because he has armor ups, because I've hit into his block, again, played it poorly, it means that he doesn't take any damage from it. So here I just decided to go full send with the special 3, hope that it deals about 30-40% of the damage that he's got left, and it doesn't do as much as I expected. Getting only 46,000. But at this point, I know that I'll have lost to an Archangel against a Bishop, unless he's played really poorly. Get clipped there, and I take some damage from the explosive personality. Again, I just keep making mistakes in this fight, but I know I've lost at this point. End up eating half special 1 there, yeah. I'm just thinking now at this point, get out of this fight and focus on the last 2 rounds. Yeah, as you can see here, 41 seconds, there's no way I was beating that. Even if I finished at 100% health and timed out at that point, it wouldn't have been enough. So it's okay, I've still got him in the draft here. I've wasted one of his champions, and I'm gonna place Rintrah next because his only counter really is Scorpion. Sunspot can do it, but I know he's saving Sunspot for Nick. So I forced his Scorpion here, and he's going to place Dragon Man for me, which I'm going to use Scorpion for myself. This is a rank 4 Scorpion versus a rank 3 Dragon Man, and a rank 3 Scorpion versus rank 4 Rintrah. So I think at this point, yeah, I've definitely got this. I could even take his Rintrah probably faster than he could, just because my Scorpion's rank 4. Getting into this fight, my plan here is just medium. The original plan was build up to a special 2 and then throw that off, and that should finish the fight. but he ends up being a little bit passive. I don't know what happened there. He kind of just walked up to me and threw a light before I had time to react. But I end up throwing a special 1 here just because he's pushing his power a little bit high. If he's stingy again, then that means that I'll eat a special 3, and that is not what I want to happen. So baiting out specials, just building up to special 2. 1 more medium, throw it off, and this should finish the fight. Yep, 43,000 burst, and that is Dragon Man done in 42 seconds. A little bit slower than I usually get it, but that's still a really good score, really hard score to beat, and I highly doubt that he'd be able to beat that with Scorpion versus Rintrah. Because if a rank 4 versus rank 4 took 67 seconds, I don't think he'll be able to get it done in 43 with 100% health still. I'll have made up more point difference than he would be able to. You'll see here he actually ends up dying to this fight, which I was quite surprised about. And maybe he just played, or he mismanaged the charges. I'm not 100% sure what happened, but I've taken this round. This next round is where I make a very, very big mistake. So he places his Rintrah on defense. So because he's not got a really good counter to Hyperion, I'm going to place him, and he'll be using Sunspot for this. He'll need to get good special RNG, good AI, and the big mistake I make here is using Nick Fury for this fight. I thought that this could be quicker than what it was, but overall, to play this safe, I should have used Black Cat because her rotation revolves around knocking the opponent down, whereas Nick's, it revolves and ended in light attacks. Black Cat can actually do this fight in about 60 to 70 seconds if you play it well, and for some reason I still just choose Nick instead. Just because I thought the bleeds would be enough, I underestimated how tanky he actually was. So weaving heavy attacks into this makes this fight very slow for Nick, even with the big light attack bleeds. So if you try and control the charges and weave in those light attack bleeds, it can get out of hand very quickly. Better special 2 here, weave in another light attack combo, go for a special 2, and that procs is unstoppable because the bullet knocked him to 10 charges against the wall, and instead of knocking him down, that added another charge and triggered that ability. So now his charges are kind of getting out of control. He's at 8-9 here, trying to get him down to below 5, building back up whenever I trigger a buff, which is annoying. Again, this is just really slowing the fight down. He's at 61% now and I've got 45 seconds left. So at this point I'm terrified, and he gets to 10 charges back against the wall, triggers the unstoppable, have to wait that out again. I'm getting a lot of ruptures on me because I'm throwing light attacks while he has above 10 charges. Throwing heavy attacks again, trigger the unstoppable again. Like, this fight is just spiralling downhill and I end up eating special 2. At this point I was just thinking, okay, I need to get this fight down. Let me go into my second life and try and nuke it down with the bleeds. Trigger bulwark there, but I still managed to get this fight down just because the Fury is giving me that big of an attack bonus that this bleed combo finishes him. And I got really lucky that my Hyperion was stingy with his special attacks, and I ended up taking that round. That decision alone probably should have cost me the match, but I did get very lucky there. I'll go for the same bans again. Ban is Overseer because he's rank 4 and I don't have one. Ban is rank 4 Penny because I don't like when the opponent has a higher rank defender than I do. And ban is Torch because Torch is just all around annoying, and I didn't see any other defenders or powerful attackers that I didn't want him using. So here I feel like I've got a very good draft going so far. I have counters to everybody he has at the moment, and it's just improving with Hercules, Hyperion. The only champ really that could cause problems is Doom, but I've drafted Hyperion and Hercules, so hopefully that shouldn't be a problem. He'll probably be saving those for attack. The Nebula pick kind of surprised me, but looking at it, he might have wanted him for Nimrod. So first off, I placed Killmonger here, try and bait out his Archangel. That fight can be a bit tricky, just if you can't control the power game. And he ends up placing Moleman here, which is smart because he was trying to bait out my Archangel so that he could place Nick in a later round and I didn't have a counter. But I did have Black Cat, so that wasn't a big concern to me. I could get away with using Archangel for this and still have a decent option for Nick. He goes for his Archangel as well. I feel like I've got him in this one just because Moleman is a lot easier to fight than Killmonger, and my Killmonger's rank 4, his Moleman's only rank 3. So as long as I get semi-decent RNG, I should be fine here. So getting into this fight, typical just parry heavy, just hope that I get a decent amount of bleeds. Get 2 in the first 2 heavy attacks, not the best, but 2 neuros in the first 3. So I feel like I've confidently got this fight now. Yep, 5 bleeds, don't convert anything there, but I'm still not too worried. And now it's just a case of getting him down as fast as possible. I make a bit of a mistake here. I accidentally push him red, but I got lucky, managed to hit his block and keep him from using it before he ticked down. And I think in this one he got clipped by a special attack and that finished him off. So I'm glad I took that round. This means that he has to win the next 2, otherwise he's out and I win this round. This is a must win for him to stay in the tournament. And he places Annihilus, which I was kind of confused about to start with. I looked at who I had and thought who would stall the longest, and I came to the conclusion it would be Hercules. Just because it'd either bait out his Doom or his Nick, and then that'd leave him with a suboptimal counter for the next round if it was to go to that. I end up using Mojo here. Mojo's one of my favourite Annihilus counters just because the annoying part about Annihilus is the unstoppable buffs you get when dashing back, and with Mojo he just reduces the duration of them by 95%. So whenever I get one of those debuffs on me and dash back, it just means that I can counter his heavy attack. So see there, gets the unstoppable and it's instantly gone. And also it builds up my Mystic Dispersion really quickly. So get here, nullify the Cosmic Control Rod, get 3 degens from the Furies expiring quickly. Punish special 1, straight into a special 2. Try baiting a heavy attack here. I made a little bit of a mistake there, getting clipped by a special. Try baiting, countering his heavy with a heavy, just because I was keeping track of what I was doing and not what he was. Let's throw a special 2 here, 7 degens up. Fully bait the special 1. Throw my own to nullify his control again. This guy's just ticking down from all the degens. 1 more special 1 and that is done. I get out of this fight 52,000 points, and at this point there's no way that he can score higher than me, which means that I've taken this one home 3-0 again. So yeah, that's going to do it for today guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave any suggestions or anything you want to see from me in the comments below. I'll leave a link to Marcus's channel in the description and to Vega's channel for hosting the tournament. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.